Hey guys, good day. Ako nga pala si Nelstar Ganados. So, ang book na i-report ko is The Contemporary World. So, ang page ng report ko sa book na ito is page 59. Title is International Financial Institution and Global Corporation. So, dito na po tayo sa learning objectives. At the end of the course, the student should be able to know whatever the state alone can stand identity without involved in any international financial institution or seeking help from a global corporation. Second, to be informed on how to be World Bank obtains its fund and utilize the same in the operation of needing internal government organization effectively and efficiently, and its recovery once and one expending state cannot be able to spend debt within the contract period. Third, to further know the relationship and connection of International Monetary Fund with the World Bank in their differences in supporting developing countries. Fourth, and the last, to be adept in the importance of the international financial institution and global corporation and its contribution to the developing countries. Yung aking opinion naman dito sa learning objectives is nagbibigay sila ng critical na kapital, kaalaman at pakikipagsosyo sa ibang bansa at tumutulong sa pamahalaan ng mga panganib at pagsiglahin ang pakikilahok ng iba. Sinusuportahan nila ang uri ng mga inisyatiba na entrepreneurial sa tumutulong sa mga umuunlad na bansa na makamit ang pananatiling paglago ng bawat ekonomiya. So dito tayo sa IFI. It means is International Financial Institution, influenced greatly to the development thinking and practice in recent decades. The profound influence was the direct effort, the volume financial transfer, and the direct impact on the resource transfer of others, including donors and the private sector. The most significant contribution of the IFI was in its analysis and ideas that dominated as aspects of development strategy and ideology. This section includes the Bretton Woods Institution, the International Monetary Fund (IMF), and the World Bank. Arguably, no development debate can take place without talk of the Washington Consensus and IMF. Conditionality, without reference to the number of people living below the poverty line according to World Bank data, or more recently without discussion of how IFI leaders are selected. The intellectual contribution of both major Bretton Woods institutions have declined in recent years, but for many decades it has been difficult to separate national development plans from the views, funds, and influence of the IFI. Ang IFI daw is malaki ang papel ng mga international finance institution IFI sa pag-support sa bawat pribadong sektor sa pag-unlad ng mga bansa at sa pamamagitan ng pagikayat sa mga inisyatiba ng entrepreneurial na tumutulong sa mga umuunlad na bansa na makamit ang pananatiling paglago. Ibig sabihin nun guys, yung magbibigay ako ng halimbawa na ng IFI na yung parang nakikipagsosyo nga sila sa ibang bansa, tapos syempre kung gaano kaasenso yung kabila, dapat ganun din yung isa para parang pantay lang yung takbo ng kanilang pag-uusap or yung pagtakbo ng kanilang ginagawa. The next is, or the last is, the role of the IMF pala. Developing countries' economies have had unequal relationship with the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Developing countries' economies have been short and foreign exchange exposed to commodity have been compelled to take advice without argument. Such a crisis is less experienced by developing countries. Commission and Growth, the Development 2008 mentioned that the IMF warning has always keep balance to payment BOP law and facial accounts balance and levels. Many Koreans conglomerates is while not halting capital flight. This was a colossal blunder by the IMF, and with sound underlying institution and strong international political backing got more generously contract without programs and better trade-off between short-term adjustment and long-term development. Pagkakaintindi ko naman dun guys is yung gumagawa daw sila ng paraan upang makamit ang pananatili sa paglago ng kaunlaran para sa lahat ng 190 na bansa na miyembro. Ginagawa nito sa pamamagitan ng pagsuporta sa mga patakarang pang-ekonomiya na nagtataguyod ng katatagan ng pananalapi at pakikipagtulungan sa pagkuha ng salapi na mahalaga upang mapataas ang produktibidad ng paglikha ng trabaho at kagalingan pang-ekonomiya. So, yun lang po ang aking report. Salamat.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kian Cassandra R. Maruya. My report for today is all about support of World Bank in global health. World Bank priority is not only to provide loans to developed countries, but it is also has a concern about global health. It is the largest funder of global health within the UN system and the second largest funder overall. In 2000, there was a major changes in global health governance program that instead established program where the creation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation happened in 2000, the Gavi and Vaccine Alliance in 2000, and the Global Fund of Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria in 2002. So, dun sa unang binasa ko, World Bank priority is not only to provide loans to developed countries, but it is also a concern about global health. So, pag sinabi ba natin na ang bangko kasi, ang pagkakaalam ko, ang bangko kasi is hindi lang siya nakapokus sa pagbibigay ng loans or sa pagpapautang. Ganun, di ba? Yung iba, umuutang sila para makapagpatayo ng bahay or para makapagpatayo ng business, umuutang sila sa bangko. So, hindi lang yun yung priority ng bangko. So, ngayon, ang priority din, ang ginagawang priority din ng bangko, ang pinapatupad din na parang gawing priority ng bangko is yung about sa global health. So, pag sinabi ba natin global health, ano yung global health? So, ang global health ay pandaigdigang kalusugan. So, ayan. Unahin muna natin yung sa number 1. The creation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation happened in 2000. The creation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation happened in 2000. So, sino nga ba muna si Bill and Melinda Gates? So, si Bill and Melinda Gates ay mag-asawa. Si Bill ay isa sa mga gumawa ng Microsoft Word noong 2000. And si Melinda naman ay isang businesswoman. So, yung advocacy nila, it focused its grant-making and advocacy efforts on eliminating global inequities and increase opportunities for those in needed through programs that address, for example, global agricultural and economic development, medical research, and public health initiative in developing countries, and the improvement of education and access to information in the United States. So, ito yung mga naisip ni Melinda's Gate na um, sinusubukan niyang i-apply or parang gusto niyang sabihin sa bangko na ito is mga makakatulong sa pandaigdigang kalusugan. Ito, kagaya na to, itong about sa education, improvement of education. For example, sa nursing, gano'n, yung parang bigyan pa sila ng allowance para ma-provide yung mga pangangailangan ng mga estudyante na nursing ang kinukuha. So, next naman natin yung number 2, the Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance in 2000. Created in 1999, the formally launched in January 2000, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, is an independent public-private partnership and multi-general funding mechanism that aims to save life and protect life health by increasing coverage and equitable and sustainable use of vaccine. So, ito namang si Gavi, ang inaano naman niyang, parang sinasabi niya naman is yung about naman sa mga vaccine. Yes, na magkaroon ng isang parang susuportahan ng bangko yung parang program niya na about sa paggawa ng isang vaccine na makakasave ng maraming buhay. Ganon. So, itong last naman, the Global Fund of Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria in 2000. So, the Global Fund of Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria was created in 2002 to raise, manage, and invest the world money to respond to 3 of the deadliest infection disease that world has never known. The mission of Global Fund is to invest the world money to defeat these 3 diseases. So ayan, nakalagay na po yung mission po nung parang gumawa nito is para mag-ipon po ng pera para makagawa ng isang vaccine na makakatalo dun sa mga disease na yon. So humihingi rin po sila ng suporta ng bangko. It engaged a variety of sectors and with ministries of finance to reach health goals, take a broader or disease efficient objectives such as health sector. Therefore, the support effort strengthen the health workforce. This new organization do not encroach significantly on bank Monday or substantially weaken its position. It contrasts to their effort of whose core work. Indeed, the World Bank absolute spending, the general involvement in the health, nutrition, and population (H&P) sector has growth considerable since 1985. The composition of World Bank. The International Bank of Reconstruction and Development or IBRD. Pangalawa, the International Development Association or IDA. The International Finance Corporation IFC. Number 4, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency or MIGA, the International Center of Settlement and Investment Deposits, ICSID. The World Bank relation to UN. The World Bank is not accusable either of General Assembly or to the Security Council of UN. It has a board of It has a board of governors that meets once a year. The governors are usually countries' finance or central bank governors, although the board of governors has same influence on IBRD policies. Action decision-making power is winding largely by Bank 25 exclusive directors. So sinasabi dito na yung relationship nung bangko sa UN, para kasi siyang para siyang sa buong, halimbawa sa buong mundo, merong mga, halimbawa dito sa Pilipinas or halimbawa dito sa Pilipinas, merong isang tao na pinagkakatiwalaan talaga ng bangko, tapos pupunta siya sa UN para makipag-meeting-meeting doon, parang ganon. So, yung na yon yung nagpunta sa bangko, siya yung isang, ang tawag sa kanya is exclusive director. Yun. The five major countries that UN states, Japan, Germany, and United Kingdom, and France, appoint their exclusive director. The other countries are grouped into regions, each of which elect one exclusive director. Although the World Bank history, the bank president, who served as chairman of a security board, has been an American citizen. The influential votes of members of the World Bank is based on the country's capital subscription. The economic source of the one country determine the major shareholder, and those exercise great power and influence. On the 21st century, the United States, as the first large contributor enjoyed one-sixth of votes. The second largest contributor is Japan, while the developing countries hold a small number of votes. In the late 1990s, approximately 2% of votes were held by 25 American countries combined. The system does not provide a significant voice for the countries, which are the primary recipients of the World Bank loans and policy advice. More than 10,000 people staff the World Bank. Truly, one-fourth of those are posted in developing countries. The bank has the office in about 70 countries, and many countries staff members serve directly as police advisor to the Minister of Finance and other ministers. The bank as consultative as well as information ties within the world financial market and institutional, and maintains linked with non-governmental organizations in both development and developing countries.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I am Nika the Twin, and my report today is about the global corporation. So, what is a global corporation? A corporation expanding business globally and not domestically operating are called multinational company. It offers several advantages to each business transactions, but poses logistical and cultural challenges. So, ang sabi dito, a global company is generally referred to as a multinational corporation or MNC. The example of global corporation are GE, Nestle, and Procter and Gamble. It is the companies with an increased a global mindset of familiar for the top management. So, kanina, nabanggit yung about the multinational company. So, ano nga ba yung multinational company? It is the company that is operate in two or more countries that produces goods and service and has office to several countries. Global company firmly observes its original local culture. A company that is engaging in the global competition still observes its offerings and processes consistent with its local culture. For example, a significant soda brand can set up shop in different countries, but the recipe does not change in the global model. The company uses the same ingredients and manufacturing processes, regardless of local culture. In a global model, the business does not adapt to local norms, but rather it imposes its existing business model in the country. The only exceptions to the global model is the marketing approach to drive sales in individual countries. The product is consistent but messaging must adapt to work within the cultural norms. Marketing is where the two models are difficult to distinguish. Sabi dito, the global company firmly observes its original local culture is a way where the product that are manufactured and have some establishments in different countries, the ingredients will still be the same. We are just exporting and importing products of local and foreign culture. Shifting of products from global to multinational. A global soda that is brought to the global market without change of its local ingredients, offerings and processes for delivering the product to market is the same in each country. Allowance of the same company that each country armed to alter the recipe and production process to be adaptive within the specific market and culture. It means that they will transform to a multinational model. This is common in the beverage industry. Distributing the power of the product and process to each arm of the business manifest of reducing control from the central locations makes it a multinational. Most of the time, a global company can alter the business model transforms into a multinational. Global and multinational models are both influenced by their parent company and top-level leadership. So, sa shifting of products from global to multinational, there is an impact that the globalization process to multinational enterprises can gain access to the patents, hiring of employee, and so on. That's why a lot of products that came from global to multinational involve the transformation. But I will stay the same. There are three channels of development assistance. First is the government and related aid agencies, which largely provide grants and some loans for development assistance and humanitarian aid. Newer actors like foundations are also becoming more prominent in aid. The government and related aid agencies. These are the banks that offering loan for the assistance and humanitarian aid. For example, USAID, United States Agency for International Development, Department of Foreign Affairs, Australian Aid, Ministry of Commerce. Second is Multilateral Development Bank or MDB, public sector arms, like the World Bank and the public arms of the regional development banks, which provide development loans and some grants to the public sector, sometimes including state-owned enterprises. In multilateral development banks, it offers loan for the public sector. For example, African Development Bank, World Bank, ASEAN Development Bank. Lastly, the bilateral development finance institutions or DFI and the private sector arms of the multilateral development banks which provide financial products and related advisory services to the private sector in developing countries. In bilateral development finance institutions, they finance for the private sector. For example, the Industrial Finance Corporation of India 1948, Industrial Development Bank of India 1964, and Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India 1955. This is all my report. Thank you for listening.
Hi guys! For today's feature report, I'm going to discuss the last part of Lesson 5. So, before we start, I'm going to introduce myself. So, hi guys! My name is Nikita Mayo from BS Cream 1B. So, let's start. The role of private sector-oriented IFIS addressing private sector challenges. IFIS, which is focused on the private sector, sits at the crossroad of the public and private sector, with a distinct object and viewpoint that allows them to play a unique role in initiative. Private sector focused IFIS address private sector concern by giving financing and knowledge, as well as accelerating other activities. So, IFIS or International Financial Institution, ito ay nakafocus or nakatuon sa mga public and private sector, with unique mission and perspective that allows them to provide a special role in project. So, ito ay tinutugunan at nakatuon lamang sa mga alalahanin sa private sector, sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng financing, knowledge or kaalaman, pati na rin sa pagbibilis ng iba pang mga activities like number 1, providing financial products to private companies that lack sufficient access to private source of capital. So, IFIS may be able to bring in funds in a way that the private market does not currently accept. So, IFIS offers a diverse range of products and services, including debt, equity guarantees, financing, local currency loans, and political risk insurance. So, maaaring makapagdala ng mga pondo ang mga IFIS sa paraang hindi kasalukuyang tinatanggap ng mga private sector. Nag-aalok ang mga IFIS ng magkakaibang hanay ng mga produkto at serbisyo. So, it include debt or utang, the equity guarantees financing at mga local na currency loans. And last is the political risk insurance. Number 2, providing related advisory product to extend the specialized and scarce knowledge essential for effective investment. So, A, enhance or improve the investment environment. B, enhance project effectiveness and impact. C, facilitate privatization and risk allocation. D, improve the effectiveness of environmental, social, and corporate governance. Number 3, providing comfort under challenging environments to catalyze or help bring in financial and investors. So, dito naman nagmumula sa kakayahan ng IFIS na pagaanin ang iba't ibang problema. Halimbawa lamang ng paglabag sa kontrata or other business event that might threaten the company operation. Due to diligence at standard settings to reduce project risk. Sponsor at companies and environmental, social, and corporate governance procedures. Number 4, demonstrating the viability of private solution in difficult or new areas, leading to further investment and creating or developing new market, fostering safe innovation. So, nakakatulong din ang makabagong transaksyon sa IFIS sa pagsalubong ng agenda ng reform at pagpapadali ng mga karagdagang pamumuhay. Number 5, networking. So, through networking, firms can learn about other firms, bank, IFIS, and other organizations. So, tinutulungan ng mga IFI ang mga negosyo sa mga sitwasyon kung kailan limitado ang alternative financing, ngunit ang mga magandang proyekto ay maaari pa rin kompletuhin and to improve with proper funding and expertise. So in this way, rather than giving special subsidies, the IFIS addresses market shortcoming, help fill market gaps, and improve project development impact. So IFIS typically change market rates to ensure that new funding does not crowd out existing commercial finance. 4. Finding high development impact, investment areas, and approach. So, high impact. Focus area. So, many IFIS have chosen to focus on strategic areas where they can achieve high development impact and also reflect their particular strength. Focus on various IFIS that provide or pagtulong na lakas na maaring maggamit sa partnership. Kasama dito ang mga ilan sa mga naka-impluwensya sa iba't ibang mga IF in choosing their strategy. So, here the 4. Graph, effect the poor, major global trend, large gaps. So, ito yung last part na. These elements are then axis against the distinct strength and needs of each IF country based on its level of development, strategic and weakness in the private sector. So, yun lamang po ang aking report. So,